Alright, this is Fantasy Football in 5, and we are back for yet another week. This is our championship week recap. Last week was our week 2 of the playoffs.
If you haven't seen that, hit the big red button below. Alright, so these are week 16 and 17 studs. So we can begin with Tim Hightower, Drew Brees, Julio Jones, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Fitzpatrick, D'Angelo Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, Jordan Reed, Frank Gore, Cam Newton, Matt Stafford, and Rashad Jennings.
There was also Ronnie Hillman, Blake Bortles, Allen Robinson, Antonio Brown, Doug Baldwin, Calvin Johnson, Zach Ertz, the Texans defense, and Brandon Marshall.
And speaking of Brandon Marshall, he had another really solid week as he has had all year round. Like fantasy-wise, he's only had 3 weeks where he hasn't reached double digits, and his lowest has been 6 points. So super consistent and great addition for the Jets.
Now, Kirk Cousins, he has played extremely well the past couple of weeks. He has found his rhythm in the Redskins offense, and he has proved to be one of the leaders of that team. He has led them to an NFC East title and a playoff berth. Alright, some duds in the NFL fantasy-wise the past couple of weeks include Tom Brady, Carson Palmer, Lamar Miller, Sharkandrick West, David Johnson, Eddie Lacy, Javorius Allen, Alan Hearns, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, and Doug Martin.
You can also add to that list Julius Thomas, Rob Gronkowski, Greg Olsen, Travis Kelce, Teddy Bridgewater, the Cardinals defense, Alfred Morris, Alfred Blue, Gary Barnidge, Tyrod Taylor, and Cam Newton.
Now, Julius Thomas, Rob Gronkowski, Greg Olsen, and Travis Kelce, they are all huge names in the tight end department. Probably some of the bigger ones, well, the biggest of them all.
Gronk, yeah.
And they did nothing week 17 especially. They all had 1 point week 17. It was just not a very good week tight end wise. The only tight end who produced was Tyler Eifert from the big name guys, so not looking good there.
Not looking good is Tom Brady too, because he didn't reach 150 passing yards, I think, no touchdowns, and they had a really bad week against the Dolphins, it was, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he just has fallen apart these past 2 weeks, no consistency. So that could bring some problems in the playoffs, but they have an extra week to prepare with the bye week. So look for him to maybe bounce back in the playoffs like a Tom Brady would.
He's also a little bit injured after the beating he took on the Dolphins.
Alright, so some news from the past couple of weeks in the NFL, primarily this week and a couple days beforehand. The Eagles released Chip Kelly after going 6-9 this season, and then Pat Shermer took over for the last game. Got them a win. Carolina, they lost to Atlanta, so they fell to 14-1, but they beat the Bucs, so they're 15-1 and heading into the playoffs as the #1 seed in the NFC. Steve Smith is announcing his return for the 16th season. He's probably going to stay with the Ravens. He had a good season until he got hurt. So congrats to him for coming back. The Colts don't plan to retain head coach Chuck Pagano after not making the playoffs, but gotta give him some slack. He had a 40-year-old quarterback playing for him half the season, and didn't really have much of a defense to work with either. Tom Coughlin stepped down as the Giants head coach, which is probably the biggest head coaching news so far. But he does plan to keep on coaching elsewhere. We don't know where yet. But he won 2 Super Bowls with them, so he had a pretty good run with them.
The Titans secured the #1 pick in the draft, as the Browns have #2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they could go multiple ways with that draft pick. Offense,
Offensive
defense.
line is probably where they need help the most.
That's true. They also need a running back, though, so look there. The Chargers are expected to retain Mike McCoy as their head coach, which I am kind of shocked by because I didn't expect them to take him back. Chip Kelly is reportedly being considered for the 49ers head coaching job because they fired Jim Tomsula, which you had to see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also some, what was the news? Oh, yes, the new year. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's new year, but the same old Browns as they fire their head coach, Mike Pettin, after 1 year with the team. When are they going to learn that they have to keep a guy for more than 1 year? to get a system involved.
Exactly. Alright, that was Fantasy Football in 5, and thank you for watching. We delivered all your fantasy news in 5 minutes less because who wouldn't want to watch a 30-minute video on this topic?
Amen.
This was our championship week recap. We hope you enjoyed all of the previous videos throughout the season. Next week for the playoffs, we will bring you our rankings and stuff for the 1-week playoffs, and we hope you play, and we will see you later.
Also, our fantasy teams, the one we've been telling you about all season, we ended up 6th in that, but we had the top overall score in the league in Tom Brady. Outside of that league, we each won 2 other leagues overall, so it was a good fantasy season for us, and one that we predicted very well.